welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Erica. This is like my 5th time trying to shoot an intro because I keep oversharing or undersharing or crying or doing whatever. It's been about 2 months since my last Flosstube. My kids are currently sick. They're watching cartoons in my son's room on my laptop so that I can shoot this. And we were supposed to be going to his first soccer game today, but because he just has a cold, he's fine. But I don't want to be that mom spreading germs around, especially right now, getting dirty looks from the other parents. So we're home. Last video I think was about 2 months ago, and thank you all so much for your comments and everyone who's reached out to me and asked how I've been and said that they miss my floss tubes. I miss doing them too. It's just been very difficult. I've had a very, very, very difficult 2020. I think most of us have. Mine has sucked big time. So in the last video I mentioned we lost a daughter at 15 weeks in March. And then what I didn't mention was that I was pregnant in the last video. And then we lost a son at 10 weeks in June, shortly after I filmed the video. The same day we lost him, we had a dead chicken. I had 7 chickens, I am down to 4. I promise this video is not going to be super depressing. I'm just giving this little update and then we'll get into, I have tons of stitchy stuff. Not that I have to like justify why I haven't been doing floss tubes, but I feel like I want to and just explain like what's been going on in my life. So I got pregnant again right away after we lost Twinkle, and then we lost a son at 10 weeks, and they were both due to chromosome issues. Twinkle T21 along with missing 2 heart valves, the most fluid built up in her brain and spine that the doctors had ever seen at the clinic, not compatible with life. And then the son had T9, which is a much more rare chromosome disorder and absolutely not compatible with life. So that was fun. And like I said, it was the same day I went out and checked on the chickens, and our favorite chicken dropped dead in the middle of the coop. Sweet, sweet Twyla. I want to say it was heat related. We had a couple weeks where it was like 95 to 98 degrees, and she was a Buff Orpington, and they are not extremely heat hardy. I didn't know that, or else I maybe would have been more proactive, but I babied these chickens. They live like queens. I have a fan out there on an extension cord. I put cool water out 2 or 3 times a day when it's over 90. Cool treats. I check on them constantly. I don't know what it was. They're chickens, they just die sometimes. 2 weeks later, we had a chicken somehow break her back, so I had to have her put down. They call it cold. There is a saint of a lady that lives about 20 minutes from me who did it for me because I couldn't do it. And then about 2 weeks ago, we had Tittums pass away after laying her first egg. I go out one morning and I'm like, oh my God, look at this beautiful blue egg and a dead chicken. No blood, no issues. I laid her first egg and dropped dead. Story of my life this year. 2020 can suck it. It has been an awful year. Oh, by the way, my husband's deployed. So he left middle of June, right after the 2nd miscarriage this year, so we couldn't try again, which is probably a good thing because my body just needs a break. And I am so obsessive and type A that if he was still in town, we would have tried again right away. And it's been nice to have a break. At one point, they were telling him he wasn't going to be back until March of next year, so about 9 months. Now they're telling him he's going to be home in 3 weeks. So, yay. I'm excited to have him home. He should be home just in time for the kids' birthdays, our anniversary. So that would be nice. It's just, you know, a 2-month deployment is kind of a joke. For those of you who are military, you know the weeks leading up to deployment are very, 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 very difficult. A lot of stress and anxiety and bickering, and because of the unknown, it's just a hard time. Excessive spending because they're spending like they're not coming home for a year. And then for him to get over there for just 2 months, it was absolutely not worth it. Oh my goodness. What can you do? We have no say-so in it. So, yay, he's coming home soon. But that's why I have been a little bit more absent. It's very hard to work from home, take care of a garden, take care of chickens, run the dog every day, homeschool, go to T-ball 2 nights a week, games on Saturday. My daughter's got speech and PT twice a week. All of that by myself has been very difficult. Oh, I hear one of the kids coming now. Oh no, they closed the door. Maybe they didn't like hearing me talk. I don't blame them. So that's kind of the life update. I also did a boot camp last month. So I've been a personal trainer. I'm not certified anymore, but I became a personal trainer in 2012, so 8 years ago. At one point in my 20s, I was considered obese by my BMI, and I lost 50 pounds and then kept it off through 5 pregnancies now, well, until this last pregnancy. After Twinkle, so all of April, I was binge drinking and eating. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was eating and drinking my emotions away. Anger, I would say, was probably the top emotion that I felt for a very long time. And then when I got pregnant again, obviously stopped all that. Well, I still wasn't eating very great, but I wasn't drinking anymore. And then we lost that baby, and instead of eating and drinking my emotions away this time, I got really motivated and was like, you know what, if I do want to try to get pregnant again, this is not helping. Like, I need to get healthy. So I worked with a personal trainer that I've worked with in the past who's amazing, and I was able to lose like 6 or 7 pounds, eating so much better. I feel so much better. My energy's amazing. So that's a good thing that's happened in the last month. I'm happy to feel back to myself again. From December to June, I was pretty much pregnant except for a month of binge drinking and eating. And then now for the last month, 6 weeks, I have felt amazing. So very happy to be back into stitching. So happy that I have some time to do a Flosstube today. I don't know why, like, it takes me 2 seconds to get the table and chair off, but I can't even do it anymore. So I'm just gonna be on the floor. I need to replace these. I don't love them anymore. I would like to have a wall of cross stitch behind me. I don't finish anything. And that is part of the reason why I did not stitch for a long time, because it's just kind of depressing to do all this beautiful stitching and have no way to display it. I suck at fully finishing things. I suck at being creative that way. I suck at framing. I just suck at a lot of things when it comes to finishing cross-stitch pieces. I don't suck at making pillows or ornaments. Those I'm pretty good at. I made a lot of them for Christmas last year. But I'm going to try to force myself to at least frame them. I don't need the pressure of having to be creative and do all these frilly frou-frou finishes. That's just kind of not my style anyways. I just need to get over it and frame. And I've framed before, and it's looked okay. I know it's something that you just practice and you get better at. You're not good at anything the first try, so I just have to keep trying. So I will. So I have been, originally I was stitching on older pieces. I'm trying to get those finished. Well, I'll show you this one. So this is one that I haven't stitched on in months, but it's on my list to try to finish before Christmas this year. And this is my Little House Needleworks Hometown Holidays. The top row is close to being done. The church needs some work. And there's some snow missing, I think, on the tree farm. The bottom row has some details, or the middle row has some details I need to do, and then the bottom row has a lot left to be done on it. So there's the pet shop, the sweet shop, the florist. This is the train station. This one's called Grandma's House, which if you guys have watched my videos, I have an issue with that because it implies Grandpa ain't there, and my Grandpa is here. So I need to put Grandpa on there somewhere. The schoolyard, the firehouse, tree farm, and church. So I think they're up to like 18 or 19 in this series now, and I just picked out the 9 that I liked the most. And again, something like this. I don't think I'll find a standard size frame for this, so I'm gonna have to get a custom frame made, frame it myself. It's just so overwhelming, but it's beautiful and I want to have it up for Christmas. So this is on my list to try to complete soon. If I focus on this piece, I could have it done in a week. Well, it depends on how many bags I have to make that week, but I could potentially have it done very quickly if I made it a priority. So, like I said, that one I haven't touched. These I have been working on, so I'll show these next. This is Little House Needleworks. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. doing it for my mom. I let her pick out the pattern. Hillside Travelers. And I've been working down on this corner with the swans. I don't know if that's the right plural for swans, but whatever. And the pond. And I think I did a little bit some of the house lately. So I got a ways to go on this. Maybe I'll have it done for Christmas. I don't know. I really like the colors though. The colors are very pretty. Gosh, I don't like that they closed the door because now I can't hear them at all. I'm sure they're fine. Yeah, my son just came down with a cold a couple days ago, and my daughter woke up with it this morning, so I was like, you know what, we're just gonna have a lazy day. And maybe we'll walk the dog later. They can just sit in the stroller and get some fresh air. Water the garden, hang out around the house, which is really nice. Because we, like I said, between speech and PT and practices and just general life stuff and going to the post office 5 days a week, and don't get me started on the post office right now, it's been non-stop usually. Okay, so this is Little House Needleworks, I think it's called Farm Life. Oh, just keep that folded in half. So I've been working on the trees on the bottom. It's so cute. I want to live on a farm so bad. I want a red barn just like that. I want chickens, bees, maybe goats, alpacas, and that's probably it. So many fruit trees. I want apples and pears and nut trees, and we would never leave. Last year I was doing garden update videos. I haven't done any this year. I kind of wish that I would have, because I didn't keep notes from last year either on like when I planted when, how things were going. And so I actually watched some of my garden videos recently from last year, and I was like, oh my gosh, my corn looks so much better this year. I've got lots of pumpkins not growing. I see 2 or 3 baby pumpkins that just need to be fertilized. I don't even think the flowers have opened. But I'm getting a little nervous because it's, you know, oh my gosh, it's almost middle of August. So they need to start growing. They need to get, but I mean, they'll get big quick. I have a candy roaster squash out there that was like this big a week ago, and it's like this big now. And I'm really excited for that. So this is what I worked on a lot last month. This is Jack Frost Tree Farm by Little House Needleworks probably. And I don't know, well, I do know why I skip around so much. I hate doing details. I don't like having to get thread out just to do like 5 red squares here. And I like just doing big blocks of color at a time. Oh, speaking of which, I got, is it long dogs? Long dog samplers. Pandemic, they released that for free for like a week a while ago, and I got it. It's like 30 pages. But I have that one blue piece that I'm doing. I meant to grab it too, but I haven't worked on it at all. And at one point I thought about just trashing it because I was like, I don't love it. I'm gonna have to work like 3 years of my life on this. But then I'm glad I did, because now I kind of like it again. And it would look like fine art from a museum being framed and in the house. Anyway, so I've been working on this. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I have been doing a lot of house renovations. So it's kind of like a tradition now. Anytime my husband's gone, I make a lot of huge life decisions without him. I buy a car, I renovate the house, something like that. So I painted my master bathroom vanity. It was, all the wood in the house was builder grade oak from the 90s. I painted it white. It looks beautiful. I use Heirloom Traditions paint. It's a primer, paint, sealant, all in one, and it's a chalk paint, so it goes on, like the texture's really nice for cabinets. And I've used other chalk paints before, and this one is by far the best. So I painted that white. I painted our downstairs, the main floor bathroom. It's like a light blue-green, and at first I wasn't sure if I was gonna love it. I love it now. It's so pretty. Because everything in the house is gray and white. Everything is gray and white. Because I like very minimalist, clean, stuff like that. But I'm like, okay, it's kind of starting to look like a jail, which is what my husband said all along. So I wanted to do a pop of color. I painted, we had this huge, ugly box light in the kitchen. I painted that white last night. It looks amazing. I've started redoing the backyard. I put in artificial turf, 2 13 by 14 blocks of it. They weigh like 50 pounds each. It has been such a workout. I can't get grass to grow. My neighbor said they've lived for 15 years, they can't get grass to grow. We live in a desert. There's so many weeds. I don't want to have to water twice a day for 15 minutes a day. Like, it seems so wasteful just for grass for my dog to poop on and my kids to rip up. So I'm like, you know what, forget it. We're just getting artificial turf. And it looks amazing. So when that's done, I'll share pictures on Instagram. I'm still working on it. My husband, before he left, was like, I don't want artificial turf. It would look so bad. I'm like, okay, bye. He'll like it once he sees it, I think. And he'll like the fact that it's zero maintenance. We never have to mow it, fertilize it. There's not going to be any weird yellow patches. Like, it's so nice. And I was worried about cleaning up dog poop from it. Nope, it's fine. Okay, so, oh, and now I'm going to start working on painting the whole kitchen. I'm not excited about that because it's going to take me like a full week, and it's so hard to do anything with a 4- and 2-year-old around. And I don't like painting after they go to sleep because I like to sleep. Like, I'm usually in bed by 10, and so it doesn't give me much time to paint when they're not awake. So I might just wait until my husband gets back. He knows the plan now. He knows that I want to paint it white, and I think he said it would look good yesterday. So like, okay, you're going to help him get here. Okay, so 2 new starts. I started working on the Prairie Schooler, this Santa right here, with the cardinals and the cute little lantern. And I have that and another new start on the same fabric. So this is the Santa. I've never done a Prairie Schooler Santa. This is my first. Very small. I don't know why I thought it was going to be bigger, but that's about a quarter of it already. So they're going to be pretty small, which is fine because I think they're ornaments for a tree, so you don't need massive ornaments. And then the other new start that I have, oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with this. It's a Mill Hill kit called Country Lane. Look at the freaking chickens. This is the life that I want. I want this barn, I want the fall rolling hills, I want the chickens and the flowers and the gate. I want everything in here. So I've been working on that a lot the last 2 weeks. I've got some of the pretty morning fall sunrise colors and then started on the barn. And I'm going to start working on this again today. Since we're having this nice lazy day at home, I'm just going to do a lot of stitching. Oh, I also got a robot vacuum. I don't want to say life-changing, but it's almost life-changing. The dog was shedding like crazy. I was sweeping 3 times a day, and there would still be dog hair everywhere because, like, when you sweep it, it just blows up into the air and goes all over the house. So there was a lightning deal on Amazon, and I think it was like 150 bucks. Amazing, amazing. I haven't swept since the day we got it, like 2 weeks ago. The floors are cleaner than they've ever been because it goes under. It's like that big maybe. Under the couch, under the entertainment center, under the trampoline, under the bookshelves. Like, it goes under all the places that I wouldn't sweep daily, maybe every couple of days, and it has made such a big difference. And Rosie got groomed for the first time like 2 weeks ago, and she looks like a new dog. When we adopted her in February, I think it was it might have been the first week of March. We got her the same time we lost Twinkle, like the same week. The adoption agency said we found her in New Mexico. We think she's mixed Golden Retriever and Australian Shepherd, which she definitely looks like. Well, I took her to this groomer that lives down the street, and she was like, we really think that she has some husky in her. Her undercoat is identical to what you would see in a husky. I was like, okay, I know really nothing about dogs, but I could kind of see that. So she, oh my gosh, she must have lost 5 pounds of just fur. She looks so much better and so much happier. Got her nails trimmed and had a little bandana on. They did lose her collar, which kind of stinks. I need to actually get a new one still. But she looks beautiful and so happy. So I only have a little bit of haul. I did make an order from 123 Stitch last month, but all I got was stuff for patterns I already had. Well, I got the Mill Hill thing. I actually had to get that off of Etsy because they don't sell it anymore. I got 2 big pieces of mushroom 28 count Lugana and white. I don't know why I got white. I never stitch on white. I'm like, why did I get this? But if I start that pandemic piece, I'm gonna do it on, I'm gonna do it on white. Probably, I think. If I do black and white, that's really stark. I don't know. That might look nice. I don't know what else to do. I don't know why I got white. I couldn't find Monaco anywhere, and I think I just panicked, and I just bought like 2 of each of them, even though I had no idea what I was using. I use like Lugana or mushroom Lugana for pretty much anything, or the tea-dyed Monaco. That's like the only 2 things that I use because it's cheap. And I got lots of threads, but I didn't get any patterns because I'm trying to stitch for my stash. So finishing up some Christmas pieces is a priority to me. I would really like to get back to the Egyptian chatelaine that I have. I started just the center. It's unbelievable. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. It's fabulous. I want to get back to that. And I also have a Teresa Wensler Egyptian pattern to do after that one, so that I have a Egyptian papyrus that my dad got me and framed years ago, because I've been into Egyptian stuff since I was in high school. I wanted to be an Egyptologist. So I'd like to all have it on that wall. I think it would look really pretty. I give up on trying to be a good decorator. Like, my room is going to have 1 wall of farm stuff, 1 wall of Egyptian stuff, 1 wall of who knows what, Disney stuff probably. I give up. The rest of the house is very much like modern farmhouse now. I did not like the farmhouse style for the longest time, and now it's all I decorate with. I already have pumpkin stuff up in my kitchens. I don't care. I mean, it's August now, so it's not too early. But Michael's had some really cute decor stuff out a couple weeks ago, and I went ahead and got some. So the only patterns that I've gotten recently, aside from the Mill Hill kit, and there's another one with a blue pumpkin, or a blue truck with pumpkins that I think I want to get next. And this is, most of my purchases are due to Traveling Viking Mama on Instagram, who's the most prolific stitcher I have ever followed. She finishes things in like a day. It's insane. She does the sewing method. I've tried that, and it just doesn't look well. It doesn't look right for me, for how my other stitches look. And I stitch 2-handed anyway, so I feel like I stitch very quickly already. I was in School of Magical Stitches for a while, and I was counting stitches, and then I was like, this is too much of a headache. But if I'm doing just one color, I could do 400 or 500 stitches an hour. And so I'll usually, even just stitching in hand, I just, stitch both hands. So it goes really fast. Anyways, I got the entire Prairie Schooler alphabet. She started working on it. I don't think she's working on it right now. She's taking a little bit of a break. I got them off of eBay for like $50 for the whole set. I think there's 9 in here. So it was a really good deal. Because at first, like, this is the one that made me want to do them. Okay, the G is for garden, H is for honey, I is for Indian corn, which I don't know if that's politically correct anymore, but these are the 3 that I really, really wanted to do. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with just a G, H, and I? Like, it's going to look weird. I mean, I could have just done them in one row and framed it, but might as well just do the whole alphabet. So this is going to be a big project probably for next year. I love all of them. They're so pretty. Prairie Schooler and Little House Needleworks I like a lot. Obviously, I'm doing a lot of their stuff, but I feel like it's going to look really dated in 10 years or so. Prairie Schooler I think is so classic. This kind of looks 60s to me. It would look fine in the 70s, in the 80s, maybe not in the 90s or the 2000s, but now. Like, I feel like there's a lot more longevity in Prairie Schooler patterns. They just look more timeless to me. And for a while, I wanted to just do big pieces because I don't like finishing. So if I just do big pieces, I have to finish less because they take longer. And things like the Egyptian chatelaine, my grandkids better have that up in their house. Like, that thing's gonna get passed down to my family. But smaller things like the Prairie Schooler Santa, like, that's an ornament, that's useful. So I just kind of like the appeal of big things that have heirloom potential to be passed down and kept for a long period of time. Is that it? I feel like I'm missing something. The shop has been doing pretty well, except for the UPS issue, which I'll get into in a moment, just because I feel like venting about how awful they've been. So I have 2 new bags that I just listed this week. This has sparkly red fabric. You can kind of see it. It's not glitter, so it's not going to come off on anything. Like, there's no glitter on this. I don't know how to explain how it's like embedded. Maybe it's like metallic thread. I don't know how they did it, but it's beautiful, and it's Christmas, and I like that it's not traditional Christmas colors. It's just really fun. I like traditional Christmas colors. That's what most of my stuff is, but this is just a nice change. And then this is another new one. There's a stray thread. Okay, I'll trim it later. That's fall Scarecrow. So at one point my shop had like 20 different bags, so lots to choose from, and then COVID hit and made it very difficult to get fabric or interfacing or vinyl or pretty much anything, because most of it's made in China, and everyone's been making masks, and so the shops have been picked over, or shops are taking 3 weeks to ship things. Oh, speaking of which, Fat Quarter Shop. I really stopped purchasing from them because I don't know if this is going to sound like a whiny, privileged American thing to say, but I can't stand taking 3 weeks to ship. So if I can find stuff elsewhere, which I can, I've been buying from other shops. Rocking Chair Quilts, Fort Worth Fabric Studio, they all ship within a day or two usually. But I did make an order off of there about 3 weeks ago, and it shipped. It is a quilt kit. I want to say it's not Hometown Holidays. Farm Holiday. It's a farm themed Christmas quilt, lap quilt. So I was like, I have to do this. So I'm hoping it arrives early next week, and I can get the quilt top done in like a week maybe. That might be pushing it, but this is the first time I want to actually send it off to be quilted professionally, because I could quilt by hand, but that would take me months, and I want to have it done by the first week of September. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find anyone to quilt it in 2 weeks. When my mom's here, because I've done binding before, but it does not look good at all. I have a very hard time attaching the binding together, and then when I sew the binding on, the binding stitch or the blind stitch is not blind. You can see it. I feel like I have a sneeze coming on. Okay. And now that I said that out loud, I forgot my mom said she can bring up some of her quilts that she's working on to just show me how to bind in person, and then I can mail her my farm quilt when it's done, and she'll bind it for me. So, but I don't even know if I'll need to do that, because if she shows me in person once, I think I'll get the hang of it. I'm the kind of person, like, I can watch YouTube videos all day. I really learn so much better when I have somebody show me. That's why, like, I went and took a class on crochet, might have been about a year ago, and I really haven't done any of it since then. I wish I would have learned knitting. I would much rather learn knitting. I feel like there's some, no, my sewing machine. Just looking at it from a new angle, it looked like a piece is broken. Okay, so real fast, my rant on the post office. And some of you, if you are watching this, might get a message from me on Etsy in the next 24 hours, sometime today. I dropped off 5 packages there last Friday. Not Friday, yesterday, a week ago, July 31st. On Wednesday, one of my customers said, hey, I'm just checking on this package. It said that it was printed, the label's printed on Friday, but it hasn't moved at all. So I was like, okay, let me look into things. So I look, and every single package that I had dropped off on that Friday still says printed. Hasn't gone anywhere, hasn't moved at all. And I'm like, this is really strange, because even if my post office didn't scan it when they let it go out, the next post office to get it along the way would have scanned it. So it should have been scanned somewhere at this point, unless it's still at my post office. So I called my post office Wednesday morning, and the lady that answered the phone was like, well, we don't have it here. We don't keep packages. Everything goes out same day. We don't have it here. No package stays overnight. And I'm like, okay, but it's been 5 days and it hasn't moved at all. Like, it hasn't been scanned. 5 packages haven't been scanned anywhere else. Well, call back on Friday if nothing's happened. So I call back on Friday. They all still say printed, and she's like, well, we don't have it here. We don't keep packages. We don't keep packages overnight. There's no packages here. All packages go out same day. I was like, okay, it's been a week. Like, they would have been scanned somewhere else if they ever left this post office. I don't think they've left this post office. Well, we don't have them here. I'm like, okay, you don't even know what my package looks like. You haven't asked me the tracking number. You know nothing about my package, but you're sure that you don't have it. Okay. And then she also said, you're the 3rd person to call today with the same issue. I was like, maybe you shouldn't have told me that, lady, because you're not making your post office look really good right now. So then I called the main post office line, and this very sweet lady was like, yeah, that's not right. It sounds like they never left your post office. I was like, well, I agree with you. What can I do about it? And she's like, well, you can file a complaint either with the post office itself, but she's like, I'll be honest, you've already complained to them and they haven't done anything, so I don't think they'll do anything. Or you can file a complaint with me, and I'll file it with Consumer Affairs, and they'll start looking into it next week and try to pressure the post office to look for it more. So I was like, okay, but my customers are expecting their packages. Like, this is not fair to them that it's taking 2 weeks, and I could just, you know, cancel the post. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, because I'm going to have to pay shipping on this twice now. because I don't want to cancel the shipping labels that were already created, because what if they find my package is like tomorrow or Monday when the consumer affairs people starts pressuring them, and then now they can't ship them out because I canceled those labels. But I spent like $30 to ship these out, so now I have to spend another $30. I have to make 6 more bags again. My customers have to wait like 2 to 3 weeks to get these bags. I'm so upset. So then I took my sick kids, skipped their nap times yesterday because I was so upset after I got the phone, down to the post office, waited in line for 40 minutes, get to the front counter, and I tell the lady, these are the tracking numbers. My packages were dropped off here on Friday. They have not left this post office. Can you please help me find them? Yeah, we don't keep anything here. Nothing's kept here overnight. I was like, yeah, I know. I've heard this like 5 times. I'll go take a look. So she goes in the back. She comes out like 5 minutes later. Yeah, you're right. They all just say printed. I talked to my supervisor, and he doesn't know what happened. I was like, well, you know, they're not insured. It costs $1.65 to insure the packages. So I thought about raising my bag prices to cover that. But in the almost 2 years, well, year and a half that I've been selling bags, this has never happened. I have never had this issue happen. So I don't really want to have to raise prices because of one incident like this. But I was like, they weren't insured, so I'm just out of luck. And she's like, yeah, pretty much. I burst into tears in the middle of the post office and walked out. I was like, lady, this is $200 that we're talking about. Like this, for you to just look at me in the eye and be like, yeah, there's nothing you can do. Sorry. I shouldn't have to pay $1.65 to insure my packages. When I pay you guys to ship my mail, it should be implied that you will deliver it. And if it gets lost along the way, it is your responsibility. Why do I have to pay an extra $1.65 every single package to make sure you actually do your job? Okay, I'm done. I thought ranting would make me feel better, but it just makes me upset again. So if you ordered a package from me and it still says printed, I will be messaging you on Etsy today. I need to make sure I have the fabric to remake some of the bags. I have a feeling I might be out of the fabric for some. It's very upsetting, especially because it's out of my control and there's nothing I can do about it. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Like I said, just started. I hope you guys will have a wonderful weekend. I hope to do Flosstubes more regularly again. I know I said that last time, but with my husband coming home, I should be able to make it actually happen because I don't have to worry about my kids so much. I'm glad summer is ending. I love gardening, but watering for 45 minutes a day, every single day, takes up a lot of time. We have to if I don't walk the dog, she starts chewing up on our couch or our staircase. So I have to walk her every day, and I have to water the garden every day. So there's like 2 hours every single morning that I have to do these things. And then if I'm trying to work out, I was waking up at 6:30 to do that before I got the kids up, and then we'd all go water and then walk. And then by the time we get home, it's like lunchtime. So where do we fit in homeschool or house cleaning or running errands or speech and PT 2 mornings a week? It's just been so crazy. And once the garden is done for the fall, I'll have almost an hour every day back. So next year I'm going to put in drip irrigation because I can't do this by hand again next year. I mean, I could. I don't want to. If I would have thought it out better this year, I would have put a drip irrigation in this year, but I just didn't think it through. Kind of my MO. I jump headfirst into things without completely thinking them through sometimes. But 90% of the time they work out fine, so I'm okay with it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I'm so happy I got a Flosstube done. I really do miss seeing you guys. I've been playing with this piece of string, so sorry if that's annoying. I don't know why I'm so fidgety. But I've missed you guys, and I haven't watched any Flosstubes at all. I don't want to say I was depressed for a while, but I was just in a funk. Like, who would blame me? It was just such a hard couple of months. I just really focused on my kids and garden and walking the dog, and I don't read the news. I don't watch Flosstubes. Like, I just kind of live my own typically happy little world, and it's been nice, very nice. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you, I'm going to say, in 2 weeks.